What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 33 of Gotta Watch 'Em All. I am one of your hosts, Ken Pescator.
And I'm Adam.
Yeah! Adam!
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing wonderful. Doing great.
Today is what? Today is October 19th, 2017. And yeah, what's going on, man? How you been? How was this week?
It's been fun. I went hiking yesterday.
You went on an adventure. Yes, tell us.
I was vlogging. Oh my goodness.
Yes!
So I'm gonna try and figure out, because it's way too long at the moment, so I need to figure out. I don't know how Trainer Tips Reversal or anybody else does this stuff, because I'm like
so much footage.
I'm like I am like 2.5 hours of just straight footage, and I'm like, what do I take from it? What do I take away? At the moment, I'm not even finished adding everything, and I'm already at like 35 minutes with the stuff that I want to keep. So
that's good, though. That means that you saw some cool stuff.
Oh, it's a work in progress. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way, but
nice.
Yeah, but it was awesome. But the goal was to get as many AR photos as possible, and I think I succeeded.
Well, I saw some of your pictures, and the foliage is insane. I think you're in a good time window, with the changeover and everything. It just looks picturesque, storybook, just awesome.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I'm gonna go out and do it the next time I have some free time when I'm not working, open to close every day.
Every day. So this is the first week that we actually broke off our Pokemon Go content into its own podcast. So we were running monthly with the Lured Up format, where we would talk about Pokemon Go and go in depth and have its own dedicated show. And we've decided to break that off and make it a weekly podcast now. So what we're going to do here on this standard format show is we'll still talk about all the forms of Pokemon, but we'll touch on Pokemon Go briefly, and we'll just cover it from a news perspective. We won't really go too in depth on the experiences that we're having. If you want that, check out Lured Up. That'll also be released in tandem along with this standard format show. So that being said, this was actually a huge day for Pokemon Go because they kind of blew the lid off the Halloween event, and we know exactly what's coming, and it's here. It's upon us. Gen 3. By the time this podcast hits the airwaves, we will be catching Gen 3 Pokemon in Pokemon Go. Adam, are you ready?
I'm not ready. No, I'll be at work when it launches. So yeah,
dude,
I'm gonna have like an hour window between coming home and then being with my family, and like when I get out of work. So it's like I have an hour to catch as much stuff as possible.
I'm off tomorrow. Yeah, what?
No! I'm so jelly. So jelly.
So tomorrow is October 20th. That's when the event launches. It will be starting at 12 p.m. Pacific time, which is usually they start at 1 p.m. Pacific. So this one's starting up a little bit earlier. So 3 o'clock, man. I'm going to be out here on the East Coast. Just
that works out perfectly.
Bonkers.
I get out at 2:45.
I'm so psyched. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time outside. But what we're getting in this Halloween event is, we're assuming that we're going to see the 5 ghost-type Pokemon from Gen 3. So Sableye, Shuppet, and Banette, Duskull, and Dusclops. That's who we've seen in the teaser images. And my question is, will we see Shedinja make an appearance because it's a bug ghost? Do you think it's going to show up? I mean, they probably would have put it in the press images, right?
It's a possibility. I mean, there's got to be a reason why they added some more like stuff in the APK mine for buddies and I don't know, happiness or something.
That could be the interesting thing here. So there's specific parameters of the way this thing evolves in the main series games. So Nincada is the stage 1. In the main series games, when you evolve Nincada to Ninjask, if you have an empty slot with a Pokeball available, that it'll, in addition to evolving to Ninjask, it'll also create Shedinja. So I'm not sure if they're going to handle this from like a stage 1, 2, 3 perspective in Pokemon Go, where you have to go from Nincada to Ninjask to Shedinja, but there is some weird stuff. So maybe they can utilize this new stuff that you were just talking about in the code, where there was something along the lines of, buddy distance. So maybe there's going to be some kind of, I don't know, you have to walk a certain distance and have some kind of time of day. I don't know. Who knows what it could be, but I think you might be onto something.
Yeah, I would suggest either time of day, so at night, obviously, or you have to walk. And I would think that it would be similar to how Eevee evolves, so it'd be 10 kilometers.
Right.
Just to my 2 predictions. If we see it tomorrow or when we see it.
Well, because that's the question is, are we going to see, Nincada's a normal type, Ninjask is a bug flying, but if we remember back to Adventure Week, the rock event, we saw Slugma spawning, which is a pure fire type, because its evolution, Macargo, is fire rock. So Macargo is respawning because of the rock event. So we'll see what happens there. In Pokemon Go, we're also, through the APK, the assets for the Witch Hat, Pikachu, Pichu, and Raichu showed up, which is cool. If you're wondering if you can get a shiny version of these Witch Hat Pokemon, you cannot. So there's no shiny versions pulled at all through the APK. But the 5 ghosts that are coming, their shiny versions are in the game as well. So that's pretty interesting. And I think all the Pokemon have their own shiny versions in the game too. So it's nothing too special.
It's probably just some flip they have to switch. Switch they have to flip. Okay.
Yes.
I totally just... I swear.
You switched it.
I swear I'm not drinking water right now.
Something I think is really cool they're doing with this event is they're putting out the Mimikyu hat for your avatar, which I think is fantastic. I think that's a cool way to, introduce some current Pokemon stuff into the game without it being an actual release of a Pokemon. I think this is going to be free, kind of like the Adventure hat, the Indiana Jones hat and the Magikarp hat, but they haven't really said yet that it's free or not. So I don't know. Would it be worth your coins?
No, but it does say something to the testament of like the game and like where their vision is. They clearly want the game to last that long.
Right.
To Sun and Moon. They want to get there. Like that's what this is showing. So that's exciting.
I just think it's just a neat way to introduce that. But then finally the big payoff with the Halloween event is going to be double candy. So we're going to get double candy for transferring, hatching, right? Hatching is going to be double candy again,
yep.
Which could, I don't know what the max is, but, you could hatch something and end up with 60 candy off the hatch, which is just nuts. That's going to be great. I mean, are there Pokemon that you still need to evolve based on candy? Like if you've given up on catching in the wild and you're just trying to bank candy? I mean, besides Chansey.
Yeah, Chansey. Chansey, I'm literally 1 Mareep away from having nice. Ampharos. It's so frustrating.
Well, buddy distance is going to be cut too, so...
I know, but I have Chansey now. I
got rid of Lugia?
I took my Lugia hiking, and I was like, alright, get out of here. We're over 100 kilometers. It was like 104. Because I remember I was super salty about the 4. I was like, I have to do it at some point. Might as well just do it now. I've already walked 100 kilometers. Just going to deal with it.
Nice. So, Halloween event. It's here. Get out there and go. Go catch stuff. Enjoy. Spooky music.
It's going to be sweet. Pun intended.
Adam, tell us about the all the goodies with Pokemon TCG that are happening right now, and talk about your ridiculous pulls that you got on Instagram the other day.
So, on Instagram, I pulled a hyper rare Mewtwo. EX. GX. I have no idea what I'm talking about, right? No. Just check out our Instagram page. You'll see it.
I'll link it in the description, but dude, my jaw hit the floor.
And that was my first I was like, I gotta keep it calm because I'm filming this. But at the same time, I'm like, instantly go into a sleeve, put in my binder. I was so tickled pink. I was like,
it's a good looking card, man. It looks really cool.
Yeah, no, it is. With all the pictures that I sent you, it's beautiful.
And it's textured, right? It has the the full art style kind of feel.
Exactly.
Awesome. So cool.
And then the second pack, I think I got a Zoroark GX, which is pretty cool. And then the third pack, I got an Outrage Reshiram, which was awesome.
Such awesome pulls. So check that stuff out, everyone. Check out the Instagram. I'll link it.
The pre-orders for Crimson Invasion went live.
Dude, I don't even have my Shining Legends stuff yet. I just ordered it today.
I don't even have a binder to put these cards in. I've literally just used my Elite Trainer box and just been stacking them in there, which is not a decently safe way because it's getting colder, so they're kind of curling a little bit. I'm like, no. So I gotta either jam pack it with stuff or put them in binders.
Yeah. So I mean, we touched on it last week, but the release of the Shining Legends was kind of like a bonus release. So that's why everything seems so jammed up right now. We normally have a full month in between, another month in between releases, but we went from Burning Shadows right to Shining Legends and now right to Crimson Invasion. So, man, this is a tough window to keep up with.
And then we've got a Pokemon Premium Trainers XY collection. And this is just, there's a lot of reprints of older cards with full art forms that like you can't use in the current format. But there's also some cool cards that are in the format that you can use.
Well, when I first saw this, I was like, this doesn't seem like a very viable box. It doesn't seem like I would necessarily be excited about this. And then when you started looking into the cards, you're like, wait a second. These are actually, there's some actual relevant cards here.
Yeah, like I don't play in Expanded, but if I did, there's a lot of cards that are useful in Expanded, like Aegislash-EX and Team Flare Grunt as the trainer. But what's in format is Regirock EX, Shaman EX, which would literally be like so much money, and everybody would want them if it was in format, but it's not. But you get Delinquent, and you can use that. That's a full art. Shauna and N, which is huge. N is like, everybody wants that full art, which it goes for a nice penny on eBay.
Yeah, there's no price listed for this collection yet, and it actually comes out. It's very vague on Pokemon.com. It says tomorrow, October 20th, with the date of release of this podcast, that this collection was going to be available at select retailers. Doesn't say who, and then the full release on this is going to be November 17th. So there's some time to get this, but it's just weird that they're doing this kind of early release. Oh, they're releasing it as part of the Crimson Invasion pre-release tournaments, physical tournaments, at local.
Oh yeah, so any stores that have
Yep.
a pre-release get this early. That's cool.
Yep. So that's kind of cool. Go support your local shops. Don't be like me and buy off Amazon like I did today.
And then also there's a Karen trainer supporter, and Eviltal EX, which you can definitely use in standard format.
Yeah. So I mean, it comes with a dozen full arts. So I mean, if you're looking just for some serious, even if you're just a collector and you don't play and you just want some really sharp looking cards, you get 12 of them in this box alone. So they look pretty
honestly,
sweet.
I can't even keep up. Like I buy stuff all the time, but man, these giant boxes, like with all these different GXs, like different arts of this, different arts of that, it's so hard to keep up with it. And then like on top of the set releases, like,
well,
no.
That's the thing. I mean, I'm just trying to build a set. I haven't even got to the point where, and we were just talking about this off the air, but we haven't even got to the point where I try to put a deck list together, which I need to do. And we're going to do that the weekend you're here for Philly Free
I was going to
Streets,
say, I'm coming to your house. I'm going to battle you.
You're going to help me build this deck. But there's just so much. But I ordered the Shining Legends premium collection and an Elite Trainer box. So I got a ton of cards coming of Shining Legends. So I'm super excited. And I picked up the Mewtwo pin box today because I need a booster to open at the end of the show.
Well, plus it's a Mewtwo pin, and
it's a Mewtwo pin.
Pretty sweet.
Heck yes.
Yeah, I got that on my hat.
But yeah, TCG's out of control.
Out of control. Ken, did you pre-order Ultra Moon yet?
No, I didn't, and I need to get up on that because I need myself a free keychain. But they released a new trailer. This is, I guess you can call it a Z-Move trailer because that's pretty much what they cover in this video. I'll link to it in the description, but it shows the two Necrozma forms are going to have their own independent special moves, which are pretty darn cool. And the Duskwing one has Searing Sunrays Smash, and the Dawnwings Necrozma has Menacing Moonrays Maelstrom. So tons of alliteration trying to trip me up here right now. But they show these moves, and the animations are just fantastic in the videos. It just looks really, really cool. There's a new Rotom type of thing going on here where you can actually develop a relationship with the Rotom, and I guess there's going to be some kind of friendship meter there. And you get your friendship to a certain point, and Rotom, you can then play like this little slot machine kind of thing on the Rotom Roto Lotto, right? Or Roto Loto.
Yep.
Where you can get items, and ultimately, if you develop this Rotom relationship enough, it'll grant you a Z move that lets you use another Z move. So I'm not sure exactly how that works, because then it seems like you would have to use 3 Z moves. To, if you, like, let's say you use Searing Sunray Smash, right? And then you want to use it again, but you have to use Rotom's support Z move to then use Searing Sunray Smash again. I don't know how it's going to work, but apparently that if you use this ability and it lets you just use another Z move, that's going to be insane for
devastating.
It's just that's just 2 1-shots in one match. Like, come on, what you got? And finally, with regular Sun and Moon that's out right now, get to GameStop in the next 3 days. October 23rd is the cutoff, but you can get your Marshadow code. And Marshadow, I think they're doing like an actual, little flyer, like it's a little square piece of cardboard that has the code on it. Enter that through the mystery gift, and you get yourself a free Marshadow, only for 3 days more. Now, this is, Marshadow is cool because it's the first fighting ghost type Pokemon out of all of them. It's a level 50, and I was looking at its move list, which is pretty cool because it's cool seeing fighting and ghost type moves together in a lineup. Spectral Thief, Close Combat, Force Palm, and Shadow Ball. So it's like you have physical attacks, special attacks, fighting special attacks, special ghost attacks. Like, it looks like a cool blend of moves.
It's a sweet combination.
It's a sweet combo, and Marshadow looks cool. And it's just, I don't know. He's
cute. A marshmallow.
But he's burning, so he's
a burnt marshmallow.
He's a burnt marshmallow.
He's a s'more.
There has to be other Pokemon, like food-based Pokemon out there that we can make a dessert out of. We'll top it with some
there's
Marshadow.
Already Vanillish.
Exactly. So tell us about there's some goodies on Pokemon Center.
There are some goodies.
There's a bunch of new stuff.
We've got some new socks. Holla! We have a Fire Spinner Marowak collection. So it's the Alolan or Lola Marowak.
The socks are awesome.
There's a shirt. There's a hat. The hats are always on point. The socks are always on point. The shirts are always on point. They know what they're doing.
The Vulpix collection have that like $200 bag.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you want a Vulpix $200 messenger bag, you know where to go. PokemonCenter.com.
Well, funny story. Jessica and I were talking, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna bring my Worlds bag from Boston versus the one from Hawaii because." I got the one from Hawaii off one of my friends, and I was like, yeah, that's like $250. I mean, it's expensive. And we couldn't even find it online. And then we eventually found one, but it's in a different eBay language. And it was like $220. I was like, see? It's on there. She's like, but yours is used. I'm like, it's in immaculate condition. Like,
can't give that up, man. You gotta save that forever.
And then the one from Boston's like $35, $40.
No, but I haven't even looked at this bag. I don't know what makes it so special, but it's got lots of compartments and cool printing on it. But I actually do like the Vulpix design, the motif of it.
Yes.
The inside of the hoodie. The hood has a cool inner pattern. I like the design, but what I'm most excited about are these pins. I love the pins, man.
Pins.
There's a whole bunch. Togedemaru, man. It's cute.
Dude, I can't even, like, every time I get that card, I mean, you can go back and watch every single pack that I open on Insta Boosters, but I'm like, Togedamaru. I always have a hard time saying that.
That's the fun part about Pokemon is there's many different pronunciations of each Pokemon, and none of them are wrong.
And then, like, Mimikyu, Komala, like, I just want to say Komala.
Come on, say Pukamuku.
Pukemon. Pukumuku.
There you go. See?
That was, so I downloaded that Pokemon Playground.
Right.
And I played that with my son, and that was the first thing we hatched out of the egg, and I was like, buddy, I don't know what that's called. I'm sorry. I was like, we'll just play another game.
You were just questioning what it was called and not what it looks like.
Right? Well, no, I was like, I don't know what that, like, I don't even know what that one is. I've seen the card.
It
put it in my binder.
It seems like Mimikyu is becoming another face of Pokemon. I don't know. I think that might really become a standout.
It got jealous of Pikachu, right? So,
well, that's the irony of it all. But you know how like Charizard and Mewtwo, they're kind of very indicative and representative of the brand as a whole. You kind of always see their faces. Like I think Mimikyu is going to be one that's consistently used in marketing.
Yeah,
because we're already seeing it everywhere. And this Pokemon Go Mimikyu hat, I'm so psyched. Give me that hat.
Gotta get that.
Gotta get that
Boom, boom, hat. That Mimikyu hat.
All right, so let's talk about this episode, man. Yeah. Kangaskhan Kid. This episode, man. Dude, this episode's great. And
this is just one nonsense thing after the other. All right, so we were talking a lot of laughing.
We were talking about how 5 episodes ago, kind of the story arc at large of the whole season was way off track. And then about 2 or 3 episodes ago, we finally started getting back on track, and we're getting gym battles, and we're headed in the right direction, and all this stuff. It seems like there was something in the water when they were writing this episode, animating this episode, and voicing this episode, because this episode is weird.
Very weird.
All right, so
some questionable things.
Original air date on this is October 22nd, 1998. So we're almost 19, completely 19 years ago, which is pretty sweet. The opening scene, that we stumbled on this last episode where it didn't make much sense, but narrator comes on, says they're crossing into the grasslands. They're in the safari zone. They arrive at the safari zone, and we've been excited for this since last episode, and we thought we were at the safari zone last time, and ended up they were on the Big P Ranch.
They took it away from us.
It was a preserve. They took it away. Now they show them at the safari zone, and there's Pokemon everywhere: Mankeys, Venomoth, Bellsprouts, Victory Bell, Vileplume,
Tangela,
and Ash is just like, oh my god! This is like an absolute dream for Ash, so he immediately wants to catch him, right? Now, this is where the episode starts to take a strange turn. So he sees this Chansey in the bushes, right? He gets all fired up. He's like, hey, look, it's a Chansey. Now's my chance. Like total dweeby style comment. And pulls out a Pokeball and is about to throw it. And from the bushes, the Chansey stands up, but it's actually Officer Jenny, which we're going to call Ranger Jenny for this special episode, wearing a Chansey hat, holding a rifle, and points it at Ash pretty much at point blank range. And it's like, freeze! You're a poacher! I'm arresting you! I'm taking you downtown! But, alright, the whole, you're a poacher, I'm taking you to, jail, you're under arrest, that whole thing, totally fine. She's straight up pointing a rifle at Ash the whole time. It's like, I don't know what you thought when you saw that, but it was like, dude, I don't know if this would fly right now.
No, it wouldn't. You're shooting a rifle at a 10-year-old kid.
And he's like, oh,
he's literally like squatted, just like, what?
But, she's like, you're poaching, and, don't you know that this is a preservation area? And it's like, what the heck? The narrator just said again that we were in the safari zone. And she's like, nope, you can't catch Pokemon here. This is a preserve. This is so Pokemon can be raised. And it's like, dude, we just went through this last episode. Why are they making it so difficult for us to understand exactly where they are?
Yeah, we just want to be in the safari zone.
But they're clearly not. So they're in this high poaching area. So they actually get taken in, and they go back to the station, which is just like this tent
big
city
pink
style.
Tent.
Yeah, big pink tent. But she's got like a nerve center set up inside with a map on the wall, and she starts explaining, you're under arrest because you're a poacher, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, look, I didn't know this. And she believes him, lets him off with a warning. And just as they're doing that, the war map that's up on the wall, like, it starts buzzing on the big screen, like, and she's like, another poacher. Of course, Ash and the crew then offer to help to make up for their blunder. They're like, we'll help you. And they all jump in Jenny's Jeep and kind of like do a burnout and take off.
It cuts to Team Rocket, and it's just straight up intro motto.
Like the second they show them, they're in the motto.
So they're going through their motto, and Meowth is freaking out. He's like, we're here to catch the Kangaskhan. What are you doing? And this is like the first time that he's not in the loop. They're just like, calm down. We got to get through this. We got to get through our poem.
Oh, yeah. So that's an interesting thing, because when he's complaining about the Kangaskhan, he says, like, we're here to catch Kangaskhan. We're not here to say poetry or say your poem. And then Jesse says it's a poem. So it's like, I never thought of it as a poem. You know what I mean? But it's interesting that they don't use the word motto. I wonder if the Japanese translation, like if that got lost a little bit in translation of them calling it a motto. Like, I don't know. I just think they've referred to it as a motto before, right? Or am I crazy?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. So it was weird that they thought it was a poem.
Or maybe the team has done that.
I don't know. It's so
like
strange.
Ash. Like, oh, we don't want to deal with your motto.
I don't know. But I thought that was pretty cool.
Maybe.
Interesting anyway. Maybe.
But they just literally, like, they have these rockets. They just whip them up. And
yeah,
then
they got like bazookas.
And then they're like, just relax and watch. And then they just shoot at the Kangaskhan. And at this point, you know, Ash and the Officer Jenny and the team, they show up and see this. And all that, like, that blast startles all the Kangaskhan. And they all just charge and just run. And they're going straight for Ash and the gang. And so Officer Jenny, you know, being the ranger, she does some
Jenny.
No, seriously, she does some serious driving, and she's in reverse, and then she's able to, like, do like a burnout sideways.
Yeah, it's
and,
straight up Fast and Furious. Like, she pulls a Brody. Like, she's just flying in reverse. And I totally love the way they animated that. Like, it looks so cool where the angle and perspective that they do in this scene, the camera is like in the Jeep with them going in reverse, and you see this just charging wall of Kangaskhan coming at it. And the Pokedex, Ash had pulled out the Pokedex and is like, you know, once they're startled, they start charging. Nothing can stop them. And they're just like, it was cool. There was a lot of, you know, intensity in this scene. But Team Rocket is just loving it because...
Well, nothing can ever stop anything quite like a net. And so Team Rocket, they shoot another rocket or whatever.
No, and like they hit a button and the rockets come up from the ground with a net attached.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what? Yeah, and so like they're all surrounding the Kangaskhan, and it just goes and just captures all the Kangaskhan.
It reminded me of grade school when you would play in gym class with the parachute.
Yeah.
Ever do that?
Yep.
And you would like lift the whole parachute up and then go underneath. That's how these Kangaskhan kind of get trapped by this net. It's like, I don't know, 50 of them or something like that. They're super excited. They're like, this is our chance. We've done it. You know, we've caught them all. And they show the Kangaskhan and they can't get out. Like, they're straight up trapped. And that's when we're introduced to, you know, pretty much, in my opinion, the star of this episode, who's this little jungle boy, this little Tarzan looking kid. He's like part Tarzan, part like Bonk's Adventure. Like, if you go throwback on TurboGrafx 16, if you guys are old like me. But there's like this little caveman guy, but he comes out with a boomerang and runs over to the net, slices it open, and starts ushering the Kangaskhan out. And the Kangaskhan are listening to him. And he lets out the cry. Are you going to do it, or am I going to have to do it?
You're going to have to, because I just want to be like, Tomo, Kangaskhan!
He does exactly that. He goes like, Kangaskhan! And all the Kangaskhan kind of group up and get into a formation and start listening to him. And he pretty much sicks the Kangaskhan on Team Rocket. And Team Rocket just gets straight up whooped, like, super bad. It's so good. And the Kangaskhan does this, like, awesome wrestling finishing move.
We'll call it Comet Punch.
Dude,
because, right, that was on the original card, right? And it was like flip 4 coins and do, like, some damage times the number of heads. I'm pretty sure that's...
Dude, look at you, man, pulling that out. But if this move is absolutely ridiculous. It, like, spins around, and it's ultimately what sends Team Rocket blasting off. But I love in the structure of episodes when Team Rocket comes in like a wrecking ball and leaves like a wrecking ball. And that's exactly what happened. It's just like they come in, they startle up all the Kangaskhan, they think they won, and then like 3 seconds later, they're blasted off the speed of light. It's like, yes, yes, it's so awesome. And as this is all happening, Ranger Jenny, and they're all watching all this stuff happen. And that's when the episode really starts taking a very bizarre turn, because this helicopter comes in, it lands, and out comes a man and woman. Woman looking pretty normal, right? The man is wearing this like adventurer hat and has a zebra striped suit on. And he's like, oh, hello. We got a report that our son Tommy has been seen, in the woods, and it comes out that this kid that's being raised by Kangaskhan is their son. And he goes on to telling the origin of why this kid is loose in this safari zone, so to speak. And I don't know what they were thinking when they wrote this. Like, how do you even think of this kind of backstory?
This is awful. You threw your kid out of the helicopter?
So he tells the story of they were visiting the safari zone, flying in their private helicopter, right? and looking at the beautiful scenery. And when Tommy was, this is 5 years ago when Tommy was only 3 years old. He's like, look out the window, Tommy, look at the beautiful scenery. And
yeah, get a better look.
He dangles him out of the window of the helicopter like Michael Jackson blanket style and is like, take a closer look, and drops the kid out of the helicopter.
No, in this scene, it looks like, because he drops him, and it's like, oh, he's clearly just falling. And then it's like, when it cuts back, it looks like he's like up a little bit more, and then like does a flip, and then a parachute pops out. But it's like, how did he get, like, that must have been them, like, they were like, oh shoot, we can't just kill him. We can't just let him drop. We've got to edit that and put a parachute.
It's like when bad guys with their planes would explode in G.I. Joe cartoon back in the day. Like, they can't die, so as long as you see the parachute, you're good. But the little daddy, because you got to see. I'll put him in the thumbnail because he's just hilarious looking. He's this little short guy, but I think he blames it on the wife immediately or something.
He's like, maybe if you were holding it,
and she bonks him on the head. But we come to find out that this little guy, his real name is Tommy. They now call him Tomo, and Ranger Jenny knows all about him. He's been documented. He lives in the forest. They've just accepted the fact that he's being raised by Kangaskhan, and he's just a wild kid that happens to live there. And, the parents said that they looked for him night and day, and I guess they just gave up on him for 5 years, but they got a call, and they said, hey, he's over here with these Kangaskhan, so they came to visit. And it was just, when I was
horrible
watching this
parenting.
for the first time, I'm like, dude, what? Like, how? I don't know if I could let all this stuff go. It's just really, really funny, but it kind of dissipates. Everyone kind of moves on, right? They continue walking out, and Brock and them come across this little baby Kangaskhan, like the baby that's normally in Kanga's pouch, on the ground, and it's all bruised up. So they get all nervous. They're like, oh my god, poor Kangaskhan baby. And Brock's like, I'll heal it. And I always forget that potions in Pokemon are not liquids that you drink, but they're aerosol. And he has this super potion and this little baby Kangaskhan sitting on the road, and he just sprays it right in the eyes with the potion. He's like, shh, right in the face. It's like, dude, this poor little thing. But I think Misty even has a premonition. She warns. She's like, be careful. We don't know who's watching. And then it turns out that Tomo is actually watching, throws a boomerang. They all dodge it except for Ash, who blocks the boomerang with his face.
I mean, that's the only way to block a boomerang, is with your face.
The animation of it is so great. It's like a slow-mo, like, Aah! It's like his jaw's all blanked out. So good.
Tomo comes in, and he's there. The reason he threw the boomerang is because he's protecting the baby Kangaskhan.
He just got sprayed in the face with some weird chemical.
And he's like, you people are Pokemon. And Misty punches him because he doesn't recognize his parents.
All right. You got to come with us on this journey that this is a very bizarre episode that makes no sense. So yeah, this caveman kid asks if their people are Pokemon. Misty doesn't like that question and just literally socks the kid in the face. It's great.
He's like, no, Kanga is my mama. And then his dad, his papa, literally takes his cane and just smashes him right in the head. I'm like, are you kidding me? First he drops you out of a helicopter.
Well, he's like, hey, Tommy, don't you remember Daddy? And this is, this part.
He unbuttons his shirt and opens it up. Don't you remember Daddy? Like, did you breastfeed him?
Dude, he's like, I'm looking at my show notes right here, and in parentheses I have, look at my nips. He opens up his shirt, his little nipples are drawn in, and he's just like, don't you remember Daddy? It's like, dude, this guy is the ultimate creep, man. So crazy.
And then Misty gets angry that Papa just slammed this little boy in the head with his cane, and so she hits him on the head and bunks him.
She like drags him out, right?
Yes. And then afterwards, his parents, they're like, we'll never leave him again.
Yeah, that's when Tomo's like, yeah, my head hurt. My head feel bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's hilarious entertainment. I can't imagine a kid being able to follow what the heck is going on here.
Even explaining this is just like, I don't even...
Dude, the whole open up your shirt, don't you recognize your daddy? Like, dude... I don't know, man. It's so
but
weird.
his bow tie stays there.
But his bow tie stays there. Yeah, he's got a bow tie. I gotta put him in. I gotta put this guy in the thumbnail. It's just.
Can you please put the nips in?
Should I make that the entire thumbnail?
I would, because it's hilarious.
It's just like no context to the rest of the episode. The episode's called Kangaskhan Kid. The thumbnail is some weird dude showing his nipples. So good. All right, so Ranger Jenny shows up and starts bugging out that there's more poaching going on, right? And Tomo kind of jumps up into the trees and goes from like limb to limb, just totally takes off. And the party gets into the Jeep. They barrel away. And they just leave the parents behind, like, cause they were walking before, so they have no vehicle. And I guess they got their helicopter, but they have to walk back to it. But when they cut to the parents, like after everyone's gone, they're feeling really down. They're like, we've lost our son. Like he doesn't recognize us. He's some jungle kid. Maybe we should give up. And episode gets weirder. Team Rocket shows up in this giant mechanical Kangaskhan that's sitting like on top of their little Jeep, but it's this like 200-foot tall mechanical Kangaskhan. That mouth opens up real wide, and James is there holding a rifle with tranquilizer darts in it. So this time they, at least when they're showing the rifle, they clarify that there's no bullets in there. It's just tranquilizers, which is still could be traumatic to a kid because he starts unloading on the group of Kangaskhan and puts them all to sleep. He's just like, da, 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 da.
Yeah, just
they start dropping like flies. And there's one big old Kangaskhan. This is the one that Tommy actually goes in its pouch, but there's this, so he's kind of like the leader of the group. And when this giant mechanical one comes, the smaller Kangaskhan kind of gravitate towards it. And the big one's like, no, don't fall for this. Don't do it. Don't do it. And everyone just gets tranked up. And then the big one ultimately gets hit with a tranquilizer and falls out as well. And that's when everybody shows up. All the Kangaskhan are like knocked out. Team Rocket thinks they have the edge, of course. Now remember, they already got blasted off. So this is round 2 for Team Rocket. Once Tomo and Ash and them show up, it's an immediate battle. And I love this battle sequence because it's like a very classic lineup. So Ash pulls out Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Charmander, and the animations for each of them are really cool because it kind of gives them their own like little splash screen. But Bulbasaur Vine Whip, Squirtle does a headbutt, Charmander does I think he does a flamethrower or something, but they're all out at once. And Tomo jumps onto the thing's head, starts whacking it with the boomerang. It's ineffective, so it backs off, but then throws the boomerang towards the back of this Kangaskhan thing and knocks the gas cap, like I guess the actual fuel door, the fuel cap for this mechanical beast, knocks it off, and then the flames from Charmander ignite the fuel and pretty much put this thing up into this giant burning Kangaskhan, and they're still in control of the Kangaskhan. They still drive, and then it becomes a car chase where this giant Kangaskhan that's getting driven by the Jeep at the bottom is on fire, and they're chasing Ash and all them. It looks awesome. Totally ridiculous, but it just looks cool, and it looks like they're gonna get crushed by this giant thing, and Team Rocket's out for blood, That's when the parents show up again.
In their helicopter.
They're here to save the day, but they kamikaze crash right into the thing and take out the giant Kangaskhan, and it's like they show Ash and the party, and they're like, they gave their lives, they sacrificed themselves to save us, and you're like, whoa, this got dark. All of a sudden,
they're like, we can't.
Nips, no,
we can't parent, so I guess we're done. Tommy doesn't know who we are.
No, but everyone really thinks that the parents, died.
And Tommy is very sad. Starts crying. So then the parents come out dressed like the Flintstones.
So they're wearing like it's like the leopard print kind of jungle clothes. They're total Fred Flintstone, like over the shoulder, like straight out of the Flintstones. And if you're too young for the Flintstones, Google it because classic. Continue.
They're like, well, we got to join our son, so they offer to live in the Safari Zone with Tommy
and the Kangaskhan.
So don't they all jump in the same pouch together?
Yeah, they all get in the big one's pouch.
How is that Kangaskhan okay with that?
Dude, and it's just like this. Yeah, it's like, who are these freeloaders? And it just becomes this like big happy ending and celebrates. The narrator comes on and they're like, oh, here we are in the Safari Zone. Let's see what happens next. And you're like, bro,
no,
what?
We were never in
what just happened?
We have not been in the Safari Zone. If I can't catch a single Pokemon, and then, like, I'm going to be so upset if Ash doesn't catch a Safari Zone Pokemon. Like, if this is done, I don't know what the next episode is, but...
Well, I don't know how many acres of protected land there could possibly be, but he needs to get to a point where he could catch some darn Pokemon, because
if I was him,
I'm sure Gary has like 40.
He's like, I went to the Safari Zone and caught everything. What are you talking about? I was attacked. I was at gunpoint. Like,
so was this episode good? Yeah, it was ridiculous. And it makes you laugh because it's just so over the top. Does it have any relevance to the storyline of this story? Of the arc of this entire season? No. Absolutely not. Like,
yeah, there's nothing in here.
There's
nothing.
Really no point for this episode.
You learn what Kangaskhan is.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only thing you learn. It doesn't make any sense.
There's nothing in this episode.
Like, there's no takeaway. There's nothing that they could even ever really reference back to in this episode. There's just, because I don't know. I'm flabbergasted. It's watching it over and over, I kept finding funnier things to just laugh at because it's just so off the wall. But if you're looking for a ridiculous episode, this one pays out big time. We'll see where they go next. It doesn't even matter where they end up, because
hopefully they get to the Safari Zone.
Well, they got to, because they got to catch some stuff, man. I'm getting, it's like that, you get that need with Pokemon Go for Gen 3. It's like you need new Pokemon. It's like, dude, Ash needs new Pokemon. I want to see something new.
I'm right there with you.
We did get a message on Twitter from @RebelAvenger219 who said, gotta watch them all. Hey, just found your podcast. Are you also going to cover the banned episodes? So this is a really good question, and I always like to address this because our episode count doesn't necessarily line up with the official count of the anime episodes, because episode 18 was a banned episode. So we actually skipped that episode because in the actual timeline of the episodes, episode 18 was released like a year or two later. And we talked about it on episode 19 because I watched the episode and it's banned for a very good reason. There's a lot of like really, risque kind of stuff in the episode. But probably when we get to passing the second banned episode, maybe we'll do like a little quick 15 or 20 minute episode that we'll put out covering those two. But Adam, did you ever go back and watch that episode 18, The Beauty and the Beach, the banned one?
No, I did not.
Dude, all right, well, don't do it now, and then we'll watch.
Okay.
I want you to watch it for the first time when we cover it. But Rebel Avenger 219, thanks for reaching out. We'll definitely do a banned episode. Once we get a couple of them in the bank, we'll do a quick episode that recaps them. But yeah, that's the reason our episode count is going to be different from the count that you're going to see on Bulbapedia or other database sites. If you watch on Netflix, where the banned episodes don't live, we're lined up. But if you look at the actual canon timeline of story releases, we're actually an episode behind because of 18. So that's why that's that way. But yes, good question, and we'll definitely do that in the future. The noise.
You know what time it is.
I'm very excited. I kind of said this earlier. I have Shining Legends, my first Shining Legends booster, and I'm going to try to funnel some of that good pull vibes from your Insta boosters. I feel good about this. All right, let's see what I got here.
That's the noise of good vibes.
Good vibes getting transferred through Skype. All right, Carnivine, Electrode, cool art. Floatzel, Zorua, Galette, it's cool. Larvesta, very cool art. Scraggy, oh my god, he's awesome. Croconaw. My reverse is the same Floatzel I have, so now I have the regular and reverse. And I have a Hollow Reshiram.
Awesome. That's legit. I think I'm pretty sure that's the same pack that I had on that last Insta Booster.
That's crazy. I'll have to see the lineup exact, but this is cool. This is cool artwork.
I love this set.
Oh, yes.
The artwork is amazing.
Yeah, the art is so great. All right, what'd you get?
All right, hold on. I mean, I did have it open, just not all the way, right? I forgot how to deal with that again. All right. So I got a Quillfish. I got a Shroomish. I got a Litten. I got a Larvesta. I got a Purloin. A Carnivine. A Feraligatr. a Volcarona.
Nice.
Oh, I messed them up. But my holo is a Zekrom.
Okay.
And my reverse holo is a Scrafty.
So we both got holos.
Yeah, I think there's holos in every pack.
Oh, you were saying that.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like you win every time.
Yeah, so if Melissa was awake and was opening a pack right
now. I told her earlier I wanted her to come out when we opened the booster so she could fail and not get like get a standard rare, no non-holo. And Adam's like, no, they all come with a holo. It's like, oh, that's no fun. I want to see her fail.
We'll get a pack of evolutions or something.
Exactly. She'll be like, Pidgey! Yes. All right, cool. Yeah. I'm very excited to get more Shining Legends.
Yeah, I don't have much from the set besides, the Shining Mewtwo. But I've only opened, I think that makes pack 4.
Oh, because you got the 2 pin packs, so you have 6 total, huh?
Yeah, so I have tomorrow's Insta Booster and Monday's Insta Booster.
Yeah, I guess between the Elite Trainer box and that premium collection, I've got 16 boosters coming. Or is it 18? 18 boosters coming. So that's going to be fun. I'll definitely stream the unboxing of that stuff. Stream it. But that's the show, man.
Yeah.
So thanks for everyone for sticking around. This was a ridiculous episode. Very hard to discuss. So
yeah,
I apologize if it's all over the place, but that's exactly how this episode was. It just, oh man.
It went up in flames just like the Kangaskhan.
Totally.
The robotic one.
The robotic one. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully it didn't put you to sleep like the tranquilizer Kangaskhan's. But that was an episode. Thanks so much for checking us out. Again, you can find our Pokemon Go podcast, Lured Up, also coming out every week now. It's on the same feed as this. So if you're listening on YouTube, you can subscribe to one feed and get both shows now. So that's going to be pretty cool. 2 shows a week. So that's a lot of fun. Now we can wrap up the episode. Couple housekeeping things. You can find everything about the show at GottaWatchTheMall.com. I update it every Friday. Take a look. You can get all our podcast links to our unboxings, our streams. Coming soon, Adam's vlogs are going to be up there as well. So definitely check that out. Hit us up on social media. We're all over Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Just search for Gotta Watch Them All. Big shout out to Seth Hay for creating our original creative and our logo. Chipocrit for providing our outro music. Grindcraft for the intro music. I'm Proud Gamer Tweet on Twitter. Adam, where can they find you on Twitter?
Phoenix Back 4 Fire.
Yeah, that's an episode. Yeah. So that's it. Oh, I do want to give another shout out really quick. I don't know if they would make it this long in the episode. I started listening to a new Pokemon Go podcast, Magby Radio. This was kind of spawned as from a fan of Pokemon Go Radio. And it's a really good podcast. I think they're on episode 3. Check them out. They're just getting started, so give them some early support. I really dig what they're doing. Maybe we'll have them on the show soon. So Magby, if you're still listening, good job, guys. But that's it, man. Let's go to sleep.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Next time we see you, we'll be Lured Up episode 4. And we'll be back with episode 34. All right, it's time for bed. Everyone, have a great night. Thanks again. Peace out.